We already know how Chat-X3 works. We can ask Chat-X3 a question and it quickly gives us a useful guidance to help us understand what is missing or why an error is happening. Let's take a quick example. Intercompany setup can sometimes be a bit tricky to configure. Here, for example, we have the issues intercompany suppliers invoice not being auto-generated from the intercompany customer invoice. Chat-X3 gave us all the technical checks we need to review. Activity codes, intercompany account mapping, and every other step we should verify to make sure nothing is missing. So of course, we can keep asking more questions, or we can validate each point one by one to make sure we have the right answer. Now, let's move to the new feature. Here, we can see the X3 project area. This is where you can create projects linked to a folder and an environment. In this example, I only have one folder available, but I will create a new project anyway. I will call it my customer and I will define it as a development environment with letter DEV. Then I enter the folder code here, TRA. I can also choose whether this project is shared with my company account in Chat-X3, which in my case is IntellX. If I leave this option unchecked, the project remains private and only belongs to me. If I check this checkbox, the project becomes shared with my company and all the users in the company. Now my environment is ready in Chat-X3 in the editor, and I can download the Chat-X3 patch. This is the only step required to complete the installation. To do that, I go to development, and here we have the patch integration feature function. I select patch integration. Then I choose my folder. In this case, my folder code is TRA, the same I defined in the Chat-X3 editor. Then I select my patch file. When I click Start Synchronization and refresh the screen, this icon appears. This icon confirms that the platform is now connected to my Sage-X3 environment and folder. At this point, if I click Update Schemas, the system connects to Sage-X3 server, retrieves the schemas, and import all the elements specific to this environment: custom tables, fields, screen, and screen fields. Every specific fields or table are synchronized. This is very useful because it means the editor is not limited to the standard Sage-X3 object, but he understands everything specific to your environment. You have also access to the logs here. You can see everything related to the editor and every action the editor performs in Sage-X3. So now everything is connected and I can already browse a table like users and see which fields it contains. Now let's go to the editor and click new. I'm going to create a new file, a new script, and I will call it ZAUSTEST. This is just a simple example to show a few features of the editor. Here we have a standard code editor, and for this first test I just want something very simple. So I'm going to ask the AI assistant for help. Let's try this prompt. I want a very simple standalone script that displays a hello world message box. Let's see what the AI suggests. It gives me the code. I need to do that in Sage X3. So let's try it. fbox hello world. Now I save the script and compile it. If there is an error, the system will show it immediately. In this case, the compilation is successful, and that's one of the great things here. I can execute the script directly from the editor in my Sage X3 environment. So now, as you can see, the hello world message is displayed in Sage X3. Now, if I go back to Chat X3, you can see another useful feature. For example, at the end of the script, I have the keyword "and", and the system automatically provides a contextual hub for that keyword. Sorry for the French text, but it will be translated very, very quickly. If I click on if box, I also get the related help for that instruction. Another useful feature is a script history. If I make a change to the script and I save it, I can open the history and compare different versions. Here I can select two versions and instantly see the difference between the previous version and the new one. I can also browse all the fields available in the table, and when I select a specific field, its detail appear here. So let's compile and execute this update example to see one of those specific fields in action. This is only a quick introduction to the editor, but even with this simple example, we can already display hello world very quick. A custom default site value used in transaction in my folder and the current username. That means the editor is able to work not only with standard logic, but also with customization specific to the environment. And that is something we are really proud of with this new editor. Now let's try another example. You can also use this feature together with the AI agent. For example, I can ask, I want a trace log instead of the inbox. Let's see whether the AI understands the request correctly. It generates the equivalent for GL code, and now I can test it right away. So here is the new script. Creates the title, open the trace, and writes hello world into it. Now let's compile it and let's execute it to make sure everything is working properly. Yes, everything is correct. So this is a very simple example, but it gives you a good overview of how the editor works. Of course, you can also use it for more complex scripts, and it already works very well. The feature is already live, you can use it, and now that we have the right foundation in place, we will be able to add new features much more quickly. The most important part is really the synchronization with Sage X3, because that is what allows the editor to understand your real environment, including all your specific developments. So yes, enjoy this new feature.